Ever worried that the government might be tracking your every move? Convinced Big Brother is lurking on the other side of that computer screen? With an ever-increasing reliance on technology, our expanded use of the internet, and the abundance of cheap and readily available cameras and smartphones, it actually isn't that hard for the government to keep tabs on you if they want to. License plate readers. Sure, there are police patrolling the roadways, but if you keep your head down and obey the laws, that should be good enough to stay under their radar, right? Well, not so much. Highways, toll booths, and bridges are actually heavily surveyed thanks to many cameras stationed on them. Many actually possess the ability to read your license plate and build up a record of where you've been and when you've been there. It literally is a case of you can run, but you can't hide. Phone calls. We've all seen the movies where government agents tap a phone line and listen in. For the most part, the actual probability of someone listening on the content of your call is quite slim. If they are, then you're probably a criminal or know some unsavory people. Nonetheless, since the early 1990s, governments like the US have been collecting vast quantities of phone call information. This means that Big Brother can and has collected details on who is calling who, when the calls are made, and how long they were made for. Public space cameras. We live in a world where there are more and more cameras watching us every day. From Chicago to London, England, it's like you can't be outside anymore without a camera somewhere capturing you. Whether walking down the sidewalk or sitting on the bus, chances are you are on camera accessible by the government officials. Even more alarming, many of these cameras now have audio, which means they can listen in as well. Personal computer. Personal computers aren't really that hard for amateur hackers to get into, let alone a world power. Spyware and other harmful programs can get into your system and allow someone at the NSA to read your emails, take a snapshot, use your camera and microphone, or even monitor your Skype interactions. To make things worse, there are even reports that software makers develop much of their work with a back door meant to allow government agencies easy access if required. Driving aids. As cars get more and more advanced, the number of gadgets incorporated to make our lives easier increases. All of this added tech also opens the door to government snooping. Navigational aids, black boxes, and automated assistance features are great, but they work in both directions and transmit a considerable amount of information concerning your driving habits and whereabouts to total strangers. Credit cards. Every rental car you've paid for, hotel room you've booked, and tank of gas you purchased could potentially be watched in real time by some government agent if they were interested in your actions. While it sounds like a massive violation of your rights, it can and has been done by the feds by subpoenaing the credit card company and then issuing a non-disclosure order, which means those targeted never have a clue they're being watched. Instant messaging and social media. No, the government doesn't care that you liked that video of the cat going around on Facebook, nor do they take particular interest in all your selfies. What does make them take notice, however, is when you type certain sensitive words. A few years ago, the Department of Homeland Security came out and admitted that their analysts would take an interest if you and your messages contain words like terror, attacks, or security. Strangely enough, words like cloud and pork were also included. Internet use. When you go online, you can leave a footprint of where you've been for government analysts to pick up on. In a way, it's similar to potential phone snooping, in that the government is unlikely to be able to track you in real time or know exactly what you're looking at. That said, if they want, they can find out what sites you've been on and how often you visit certain sites. The catch is that even if your computer is used to visit a flagged site, there's no immediate way to prove who was sitting at the keyboard at that time. Photographic ID. Been to the DMV passport office or had a mugshot taken at any time? Congratulations! There's a good chance you're now in a database which can be used to facially recognize you with special software used by some government agencies. The FBI even proudly announced they were actively working towards having software which can pick people out in a crowd and bring up all their personal information. Smartphones. Unfortunately, when it comes to government spying, smartphones can be a problem because they have almost all the traits mentioned throughout this entire video. Email, social media, texting, and the phone all leave footprints or open doors for potential snooping. As proven by the Ukrainian government in its crackdown of protesters in 2014, cell phones can also be used to geo-track anyone, allowing the government to know exactly where you are at any given time. Disturbingly, even turning your phone off doesn't mean the GPS tracker is necessarily deactivated. Alright guys, that's our video. Well, while you sit there patiently and wait for Big Brother to swing by and pick you up, why don't you give these other videos a look-see? And while you're here, please don't forget to click like and subscribe. Thanks.